archaeologists have discovered the world's oldest Homo sapiens fossils, alongside stone tools and animal bones at Jebel Irhoud, Morocco. The fossils date back to 300,000 years ago, and are 100,000 years older than any other Homo sapiens fossil discovered. The findings push back the origins of our species, and show that by about 300,000 years ago, important changes in our biology and behavior had taken place across most of Africa. An international research team, led by the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology in Leipzig, Germany and the National Institute for Archaeology and Heritage in Rabat, Morocco, uncovered the fossil bones of Homo sapiens along with stone tools and animal bones. The discoveries reveal a complex evolutionary history of mankind that likely involved the entire African continent. Previously, the oldest Homo sapiens fossils were known from the site of Omo in Ethiopia, dated to 195,000 years ago. And until now, most researchers believed that all humans living today descended from a population that lived in East Africa around this time. Professor Jean-Jacques Hublin, who led the study, said, "We used to think that there was a cradle of mankind 200,000 years ago in East Africa, but our new data revealed that Homo sapiens spread across the entire African continent around 300,000 years ago." Long before the out-of-Africa dispersal of Homo sapiens, there was dispersal within Africa. Jebel Irhoud has been known since the 1960s for its human fossils, and the latest discovery brings the total number of remains to 22. The team of researchers discovered skulls, teeth and long bones from at least 5 individuals, 2 adults, and 3 children. They were unable to determine the sex of the individuals, as no pelvic bones were found. To date the fossils, the team used a thermoluminescence dating method on heated flints found in the same deposits. These flints yielded an age of around 300,000 years ago. Dr. Daniel Richter, who also worked on the study, said, "Well-dated sites of this age are exceptionally rare in Africa, but we were fortunate that so many of the Jebel Irhoud flint artifacts had been heated in the past. This allowed us to apply thermoluminescence dating methods on the flint artifacts and establish a consistent chronology for the new hominin fossils and the layers above them." The team also recalculated the age of a lower jaw found at Jebel Irhoud in the 1960s. While the jaw had previously been dated to 160,000 years ago, the new and more precise dating measure showed that it was also 300,000 years old. Dr. Richter said, "We employed state-of-the-art dating methods and adopted the most conservative approaches to accurately determine the age of Irhoud." The skulls of modern humans are characterized by features that distinguish us from our ancestors, including a small and slender face and globular brain case. The fossils from Jebel Irhoud displayed a modern-looking face and teeth, but a slightly larger brain case. The researchers used computer scans and statistical analysis based on hundreds of 3D measurement to show that the facial shape of the fossils was almost indistinguishable from that of modern humans living today. And the fossils only differ from modern skulls in the shape of the brain case. Dr. Philip Guns, who also worked on the study, said, "The inner shape of the brain case reflects the shape of the brain. Our findings suggest that modern human facial morphology was established early on in the history of our species, and that brain shape, and possibly brain function, evolved within the Homo sapiens lineage." Recent studies have compared DNA from Neanderthals and Denisovans to the DNA of modern humans, revealing differences in genes affecting the brain and nervous system. The researchers say, evolutionary shape changes of the brain case are therefore likely related to a series of genetic changes affecting brain connectivity, organization, and development that distinguish Homo sapiens from our extinct ancestors and relatives. The structure and age of the fossils from Jebel Irhoud also suggests that part of a skull from Florisbad, South Africa, was an early representative of Homo sapiens. This means that the earliest Homo sapiens fossils are found across the entire African continent: Jebel Irhoud, Morocco, Florisbad, South Africa, and Omo, Ethiopia. This indicates a complex evolutionary history of our species, possibly involving the whole African continent. Speaking during a press briefing, Professor Hublin said, "It's possible there's a center of origin somewhere, but to date, we don't have any way to find where this is. The big question is, did this happen in one place in Africa? We don't think this was the case." The researchers tried to extract DNA from the samples to compare it to modern humans, but failed. Professor Hublin said, "We tried to extract DNA from the bones, but today there is none because it is too old and too hot. It's a problem in Africa that we don't have ancient DNA. There is little hope unless we find an exceptional site where bones are buried at a stable temperature that we could have ancient DNA." Dr. Abdelwet Benser, who also worked on the study, said, "North Africa has long been neglected in the debate surrounding the origin of our species. The spectacular discoveries from Jebel Irhoud demonstrate the tight connections of the Maghreb with the rest of the African continent at the time of Homo sapiens emergence. The Homo sapiens fossils were found in deposits that also contained animal bones, principally gazelles. Cuts and breaks on long bones indicate that humans broke them open, likely to eat the marrow, according to the researchers." Dr. Shannon McFerrin, who also worked on the study, said, "They primarily hunted gazelle, but also wildebeests, zebras, and even different types of lions. That faunal spectrum paints a picture of wetter conditions than today, a landscape that is mainly open but with some clumps of trees. The site itself is in a hill, and in the time of occupation, would have been a cave that provided shelter for these individuals. This was a place where people were passing through the landscape and taking shelter there while on the search for subsistence." Stone tools made from flint were also discovered at the site, dating back to the Middle Stone Age. Dr. McFerrin said, "The stone artifacts from Jebel Irhoud look very similar to ones from deposits of similar age in East Africa and in Southern Africa. It is likely that the technological innovations of the Middle Stone Age in Africa are linked to the emergence of Homo sapiens. The findings from Jebel Irhoud shed new light on the evolution of Homo sapiens, and indicate that our species evolved much earlier than previously thought."